Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotee. So today is Friday. It is the 19th of September. It is Ashwini Masa, Padmanabha Masa, and Krishna Paksham. It is also called Mahalaya Pitru Krishna Paksham. So in this Paksha, so people who are following the Vedic injunctions, they offer the tarpanas to their forefathers. So it will go up to 21st of September, remembering the forefathers and everyone who are the source of all of our family. Okay, so that is today is the Krishna Paksham and Trayodasi Tithi. There are no Vaishnava events in the calendar. So we shall move into our daily swimming Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Maitreya Muni describing about the gigantic universe or the universal form or Virata Rupa. So in his description, he is called Hiranmayaha Sapurushaha Sahasra Parivatsaran Andakoshi Vovasapsu Sarvasattu Upabrumbhitaha. So he has the Virata form, or who is called Hiranmaya. So he has stayed within the Garbhodaka ocean for 1,000 celestial years. After that, he has divided himself into so many of living entities and also karmic activities. Deva Karma Atma Shaktiman. He is the all-potent supreme personality of Godhead. Savai Visasujam Garbho Deva Karmatma Shaktiman. Deva Karma Atma Shaktiman. Vivabhaja Atma Vivabhaja Atmana Atmanam Yekada Dashida Trida Vivabhaja Atmana Atmanam. So he divided himself into Yekada Dashida Trida in one and 10 and 3. What is one is agreement between the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is one. Dashida, it is the 10 life years. So they are called the Prana, Apana, Udana, Vyana, Samana. They're also called Naga, Kurma, Kurkara, Devadatta, Dhananjaya. So these are the 10 life years. So after they're called just life years, but in overall different. Each age has got different function. Okay, that is Dashida, Ekada, Dashida, Trida. Trida is the identification oneself. Identification of oneself as a living entity, that is like Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmik. That is a Tridha. Ekada, Dashida, Tridha. In such a way, he has divided. Vivavada Atmana Atmanam. And then it also contains Deva Karmatma Shaktiman. So likewise, in order to carry out the functions of all the living entities, Deva Karmatma Shaktiman. And after saying that, Maitreya Munishi further he is describing about the Virata form, saying that this Virata form, it is the first expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First expansion of the Super Soul. First, he mentioned as the Super Soul. And then which is the shelter for the all the living entities, inclusive of bhotas, living entities, and everything else. And they're all flourishing in the body of the gigantic Virata form. Likewise, Maitreya Muni is saying to Vidura. We are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 6 and verse number 8. येषि हि अशेषसत्त्वानाम् आत्मांशः परमात्मनः आद्यो अवतारो यत्रासौ भूतग्रामो विभाव्यते येषि हि अशेषसत्त्वानाम्. So this gigantic form, येषि हि, certainly, this gigantic form, Ashesha it is having unlimited living entities. So in another way, we call Vishnu. Vishnu means who is all pervading throughout the universe, who has, there is no place that where Lord is not existing. So he is Vishnu. Yeshahi, that is also a meaning of Vishnu. Many people give, who is all pervading, Vishnu. Yeshahi Ashesha Sattvanam, unlimited living entities. And Atmamshaha Paramatmanaha, Atmamshaha Paramatmanaha. It is the self-expansion part, is the Amshaha, and the Paramatmanaha of the super soul. Virata form is the expansion of the Paramatma. Adyaha is the first expansion. Adyaha Avataraha, the first incarnation. Yatra asau, so whereupon asau, all those, what are they? Bhotagramo vibhavyate, bhotagramaha, all the aggregate creations. Vibhavyate, they flourish in the body of the Virata Rupa. Yeshihi ashesha sattvanam atmamshaha paramatmanaha adyo avataro yatrasau bhotagramo vibhavyate. So everything flourished within the body of the Virata Swami. So translation for this shloka. The gigantic universal form of the Supreme Lord is the first incarnation and a plenary portion of the Super Soul. He is the self of an unlimited number of living entities, and in him rests the aggregate creation, which thus flourishes. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Can I request any unallocated devotee? Raslila Mataji, would you like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisance and goes to Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord expands himself in two ways, by personal plenary expansions and separated minute expansions. The personal plenary expansions are Vishnu Tattvas and the separated expansions are living entities. Since the living entities are very small, they are sometimes described as the marginal energy of the Lord. But the mystic yogis consider the living entities and the super soul Paramatma to be one and the same. It is, however, a minor point of controversy. After all, everything created rests on the gigantic Virat or universal form of the Lord. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, Lord expands into two ways, by personal plenary expansions and separated minute expansions. So here, personal plenary expansions are Vishnu Tattvas and separated expansions are the living entities. So here in the Vishnu Purana, it is described Vishnu Sekti para prokta kshetra jhankya tata para avidya karma sanyaya trutiya sekti rishyate. Tritiya Shakti Rishyate. This is the third marginal energy. So one is the superior energy, is spiritual nature. Inferior energy is the material nature. But Tritiya Shakti, it is the marginal energy of the Lord. So it is Avidya Karma Sanyaya. So they, because Avidya, because there is no knowledge, and because of that, they try to desire it, lord it over material nature, they come down to the inferior nature. That is the living entities. So Lord expands himself into his personal expansion. These are called the Atmamsha. So here it is mentioned specifically Atmamshaha, Paramatmanaha. These are all Vishnu Tattvas, Virat Rupa. Garbhodakasai Vishnu here, he is the Hiranmaya, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and also Virata form as well. He is the source of Ado Grihitam Avatar Shateka Bijam Yanna Vipadma Bhavana Rahma Virasam. So here Lord Brahma says the same glorification of the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Roop, he also described that Ado Gruhitam Avatara Shataika Bijam, that is the source of all other incarnations. Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So he is also Virata form. He is also source for even the he is also the first expansion of the super soul as well. So of course everything is Vishnu only. Sometimes we understand which is first, but in the Lord's, if we take a flower, Narada Muni gives one example, and then it has got the flowers, the petals within a flower. Which petal is the first petal? There is no first or second. So it is a circle form. So likewise, everything belongs to the Lord only. Within this universe, if we describe Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, and Virata form, and also the Hiranmaya, and then they're all existing eternal forms of the Lord. But for time being, it is a circle, keep on going. The flower is already existing. It is completing, but it is based on the time. We think that it is first, it is the second, like that. If there is no time, all these forms are eternal. But it is for ourselves, for our eyes, it appears that it is nato natya dharoyata. This is again Kunti Maharani prays in her prayers that yata nato natya dharoyata. So here, the plenary expansions are the Vishnu Tattvas and separated expansions are the living entities. Since living entities are very small, they are sometimes described as the marginal energy. This is a Tritiya Shakti Rishyate, marginal energy of the Lord. But the mystic yogis consider the living entities and the super soul Paramatma to be one and the same. So here in this point, so Paratma Jivayoraikyam Mayatra Pratipadhyate, one of the statements by Lord Shiva to Parvati in the Padma Purana, he describes that Paramatma Jivayor Aikyam Mayatra Pratipadhyate, but that is Mayavadam. But that knowledge is not the right thing. So he describes Srunudevi Pravakshami Tamasani Yatakramam and Yesham Shravanamatrena Patityam Jnaninamapi. So whoever hears this Mayavada philosophy, what is Mayavada philosophy? Paratma Jivayor Aikyam Mayatra Pratipadyate. This is the Mayavada philosophy. Whoever hears, they will fall down from their spiritual position. It is, in other way, it is not that very difficult to understand. Living entities and super soul, if they are of the same, they all must be in agreement with each other. If there are 8 billion people in this planet, they all must be working for only one purpose. But they are not. They are working individually. So that is, we can understand straight away. It's not it is, however, a minor point of controversy. After all, everything created rests on the gigantic Virata or universal form of the Lord. Okay, so this is what in the previous shloka also, Srila Prabhupada was describing about this living entities. They are in one with the supreme consciousness. In pure consciousness, the activity is one. The consciousness of individual soul becomes one with the supreme consciousness when there is complete synthesis between the two, Paramatma and the individual soul. Then it is only one. But here, this yogis, they think that they it is only one and the same. But there is no controversy here. But it is just straight individual, each living entity, his activities, his desires, they are separate. In my body, I have got different limbs. So each limb has got a different function, but they're all working for only one purpose. There is agreement between what I wanted to do it to the spirit soul. Okay, so likewise, Prabhupada is describing. After all, everything is, and here for one of the statement, whatever we are seeing here, the Lord and his Virata form and all the living entities situated. This is the Atmamshaha. It is the Atmamshaha. And Sutta Goswami in the previous first canto of third chapter, Shloka 40, he was mentioning that एतद्रूपं भगवतो हि अरूपस्य चिदात्मनः माया गुणैर्विरिक्तं महदादिविरात्मनि. So there he describes that Lord has got, this is imaginary form. It is the imaginary form. Let us go to that shloka. So in the third chapter, this Virata form, some 31 shloka. Okay, this is Adapara. It is 30th shloka. So etadrupam bhagavato hi arupasya chidatmanah maya gunair virajitam mahadadi viratmani. So the conception of the Virata universal form of the Lord as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent and the neophytes to adjust to the idea of the Lord's having form. But factually, the Lord has no material form. He has got a spiritual form. So here Prabhupada has described this one in a bit more detail, and I request dear devotees. So here, just a small purport only. Can I request Saranya Mataji to read the purport?
Hare Krishna. The conception of the Lord, known as the Vishwarupa or the Virat Rupa, is particularly not mentioned along with the various incarnations of the Lord, because all the incarnations of the Lord mentioned above are transcendental, and there is not a tinge of materialism in their bodies. There is no difference between the body and self as there is in the conditioned soul. The Virat Rupa is conceived for those who are just neophyte worshippers. For them, the material Virat Rupa is presented, and it will be explained in the second canto. In the Virat Rupa, the material manifestations of different planets have been conceived as his legs, hands, etc. Actually, all such descriptions are for the neophytes. The neophytes cannot conceive of anything beyond matter. The material conception of Lord is not counted in the list of his actual forms. As Paramatma or Super Soul, the Lord is within each and every material form, even within the atoms, but the outward material form is but an imagination, both for the Lord and for the living beings. The present form of the conditional souls are also not factual. The conclusion is that the material conception of the body of the Lord as Virat is imaginary. Both the Lord and the living beings are living spirits and have original spiritual bodies. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here, these statements are very clear. So the individual living entities, so we have got, now we see our personalities, but these are covered by the material bodies. We have got child body, at the time we have got a child dress. When we have got a youth body, we got the dress according to fit the body. And later on, whenever the body gets older, and then the same dress, it will become so loose because the body is shrunken to smaller. So that is based on the material things. But actually, we have got a consciousness. The consciousness, if it is the human body, human consciousness, it will take to the human body. And if the consciousness is a dog consciousness, just only eating and then working like a servant to the master all the time, then it will get a dog body according to the consciousness. But actually it has got a spiritual form. That is Swarupena Mayopetam Pastin Swarajyam Luchyati. Swarupa is the spiritual form. So Krishna has got a spiritual form, that is the Vedam Kwanantam Arvinda Dalaya Taksham Barhavatam Asitam Bhuda Sundharangam Kandarpa Kotikam Vishesh Shobham Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Like he has got two-handed form, spiritual form, we also have got the spiritual forms. But Krishna is always free from the Maya, so he does not have to take to the material form. So he does not change the bodies. But whereas the living entities, we are tended to fall to Maya. So that's why we are covered by we are tiny marginal living entities. We belong to the marginal energy of the Lord. So we are covered. And we have got our form, Lord has got Lord form. And here, this entire universe, these are all the living entities, full of, there is no place that there is no living entity. And Vishnu means who is all pervading within the universe. Okay, so that is spiritual form. So here material is just only the coverings, because neophytes, they cannot understand how the Lord is what is the form of the Lord. They cannot even understand. So here for them, Vishnu Rupa is described here. So coming back to the our shloka. So here after all, everything created rests on the gigantic Virata or universal form of the Lord. All this, all the 14 planetary systems and everything else. Okay, so likewise Prabhupada is describing here. Okay, and here Maitreya Muni is mentioning, Yeshahi Ashesha Sattvanam Atmamshaha Paramatmanaha. It is the expansion of, because our presence only, we have also got material body developed. So material body is also one of the expansion of the soul. That one we would say there are different descriptions. I think in the second canto where it was described, uh, uh, the material body is also one form. I think I'll get that from. I don't remember exactly the context. Okay, so this is the Atmamshaha Paramatmanaha. So Virata form is the expansion of the Paramatma. Okay, so that is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall move to Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Okay, today letter to Rishabhadeva, November 16th, 1970, Bombay. Okay, Saranya Mataji, would you like to read this letter as well?
Hare Krishna. My dear Rishabhdeva, please accept my blessings. I beg to thank you for your encouraging letter dated October 1st, 1970, and your appreciations of devotional service in Krishna consciousness are very nice. Now you are placed in a responsible post, so I may request you to be very carefully execute the regular program as you have learned it in Los Angeles. If the regulatory principles are strictly followed, there is no chance of Maya's dangerous influence to come in and cause some havoc. Maya is always peeping, ready to take advantage of our lapse from devotional standard, so everyone should be continuously engaged in either chanting, studying, or working and preaching. This full schedule will save us from engagement elsewhere. Maya and Krishna are always side by side. Either one is serving Krishna or he is serving Maya. Please manage the affairs of your temple in close cooperation with Karandhara and your god brothers, and Krishna will give you the good intelligence to progress nicely. You have remarked how the students on campus receive our devotees and Krishna philosophy so well. It is a fact that they are eagerly looking for some real meaning in life, and that reality is Krishna. So you must carry on work on the campus very diligently and try to impress them with the importance of Krishna consciousness. I am very pleased to know that Sriman Singh is helping by speaking to the campus authorities and students Krishna conscious at UCI. That is a very large that is a very large university, and many highly intelligent boys, girls, and faculty can be approached there, therefore joining our program. I am especially happy when you write how each devotee is executing his particular task with enthusiasm and they are chanting at least the required 16 rounds daily. Everyone should think that he has been assigned this particular task to do by Krishna, and he should be satisfied with that and do his best to accomplish the work as nicely as possible for the pleasure of Krishna only. By this cultivation of service attitude, one swiftly advances in devotional service. Please offer my blessings to the devotees there. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Any take your points, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, yeah, in this letter, Prabhupada was writing to Shabadeva, devotee, for it's like Prabhupada was gave him a responsible post. So Prabhupada was mentioning like to do good or to do maintain in that or to progress in the devotional part or to do good in that responsible post. What we have to be like first doing is like follow regulatory principle and chant. So if that is the basics or that is the basic strength. So if we don't follow the regulative and if we don't follow that regulatory principles and the prescribed amount of chanting, then the Maya can take charge. So we unknowingly Maya will come and we'll be thinking that we are doing that, but unknowingly we will be doing something else. So Prabhupada was mentioning the stressing the importance of following regulatory principle, and Prabhupada was like Krishna and Maya side by side. So one's life, one is either serving Maya or either serving Krishna. So both of them cannot be possible, like that Prabhupada was mentioning, and Prabhupada was asking them to do in cooperation with the other God brothers and devotees. And if our intention is to serve Krishna and take all the responsibilities that come to your path, as like Krishna giving to you, that task is given by Krishna. So take them that I like that and do that. And also Prabhupada was mentioning like in the campus preaching program, the devotees, the people who in that campus, this devotee was saying they are very interested in Krishna consciousness philosophy and they're like very welcoming. So Prabhupada was mentioning like uh, take advantage of that. There are like intelligent girls and boys, and also they are like the faculty is also like very intelligent. So just take care of that opportunity and preach. And Prabhupada was very happy that the devotees they were following the regulatory principles and chanting 16 rounds. So and Prabhupada was like all the tasks that is allocated to them should be considered as like the task given by Krishna. So and cultivate a service attitude so that we can develop in devotional service. Uh, yes, Prabhu. So overall, the letter was saying the importance of like regulatory principles, following the regulatory principles and chanting the prescribed round and preaching to the youngsters, like how important to preach to the college students, like the boys and girls there and faculty there, and to take all the tasks allocated to us by the spiritual master or the god brothers as a task given by Krishna, and follow that with a service attitude, and that is the key to advance in devotional service. So that is the three things, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for kindly explaining this. Any other comments, dear devotees? Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Okay, so here our Prabhupada is mentioning one nice statement. Maya is always peeping, ready to take advantage of our any lapse from devotional standards. So everyone should be continuously engaged in either chanting, studying, or working and preaching. A very nice statement. So otherwise we fall to the Maya. Okay, so that comes through following regulative principles and keep chanting ourselves. That is the spiritual strength. So Mayam Chitad Apashriyam. So this is Maya and Krishna are always side by side. Mayam Chitad Apashriyam. It is taking the shelter of Krishna behind. If you are not taking to worship of Krishna and following regulative principles, then immediately Maya will catch. Okay, so that is my takeaway as well. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Can I ask you one question, Prabhu?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Prabhu, so, but still we hear that even some of the Vaishnavas or the Maharajas, they succumb to Maya in spite of, they are practicing, they are chanting, they are preaching. Um, so what would be your reflection on that, Prabhu?
We are all practicing. We are not yet complete Vaishnavas. If I am completely Vaishnava, I do not stay here in this world. I get my spiritual form as soon as my business is finished here. Then I go back to the Vaikuntha as a pure Vaishnava, no more material business.
Mm,
We are all trying to get into that position.
mm, mm.
But
But Prabhu,
each individual person has got a different journey. One person may be doing all chanting rules. This is a journey within the heart. Outside, we may be thinking like, okay, this person is doing very nicely. That is good, but the journey within the heart, when it is going to be 100% completed, then we don't need material body anymore at all.
so are you saying, Prabhu, as long as we have the material body, there is always the chance of succumbing to Maya, is it?
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. Otherwise,
mm,
why I think that this is my wife and child?
mm.
Unless there is conception, why I would stay at home and with the family and everyone and doing also little bit of thing. So this is kind of, but it would continue as long as the material body exists. But that's why the sannyasis they take to the renunciation and then only engage in the Krishna consciousness. But that is also they're also trying in one way because they understand at least they have stepped onto they have with courageously stepped onto the next platform. They're also trying, and then the journey within the heart. Outside, we may see one particular activity, and we may think that they may be uh, not following the rules, something like that. But as long as material body is there, there is always some kind of disturbance, even though orange dress is there. So, but once we journey within the heart, which we cannot see with our material eyes.
Also, but Prabhu, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord is saying that when he's defining sannyasi, he's saying he's not talking of complete renunciation. He's saying he is doing his duty in the material world, but he's keeping on thinking of me. Is a real sannyasi. But so he's still saying that you have to do your duties, what
Yes,
you have to do in the material world.
yes.
But when he says that, with that, automatically doesn't Maya come into play?
So when we are in the materialistic too, so Krishna asking us, engage yourself in the duties, carry out those Swadharmacharanam Sekya Vidharmacha Nivartanam. Daivalabdena Santosha Atmavicharanachanam. When these are the plain statement. Swadharmacharanam Sekya. Swadharma, what is the Swadharma? It's based on whether I'm a son, whether I'm a husband, whether I'm a father, whether I'm a wife, and what is my constitutional position and what are my duties. This is Swadharma. Swadharma Charanam Sektya according to the one's capacity. Vidharmacha Nivattanam. What is not mentioned in the scriptures, we do not follow. Vidharmacha Nivattanam. Daivalabdhen Santosha. Whatever comes in accord to our livelihood, be satisfied with that. Atmavit Charanachanam, taking the shelter of the spiritual master. When we are following all these rules, then we are not in the Maya. But are we following with? Because just our presence here itself, we belong to one particular village, we belong to one particular mother and father and one particular place. But why we are here in this very far away in different countries or working in some under someone person who are also they are not relatives to us. We are working for someone else, which is out of our interest. For what purpose? So there is something behind the desires which are not yet purified completely. So when by the devotional service, in due course of time, they will be succeeded. One will be realized later on. But in the Bhagavatam, we see there are pure devotees. Unless they renounce, they quit their body, they don't get the spiritual form. Dhruv Maharaj, he got the spiritual form later on. But he did not quit his body. But Vishnu Pasudas came and take him into Vishnu body. His body was turned into the golden form when he was climbing onto the aboarding the airplane. And when the Mrityu also came and he stepped on the head of the Mrityu. And then in his form, the golden form, which is his material body, it transformed into spiritual golden form and then entered. And if you see Ajamila, so he has to quit his old body, but he has got a spiritual body. And then he went back. There the business is finished with the material body. As long as we have got a material body, or until the Vishnu Parshudas come or Krishna Parshudas come, we have to somewhere a little holding on to the Krishna, always trying to remember, engage in our activities. We are trying in with our full endeavors. Whenever this business is finished, then we will go back. But this is the complete surrender, Sarvadharman Parityajya, and becoming a Vaishnava. Though we say that it is simple, and even though we are chanting 16 rounds and following regulative principles as much as we can, somewhere there are small things are there which we cannot recognize explicitly.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Very interesting, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. May I give a different reflection as well? I mean, you have said in a very spiritual way, but can I give another reflection, please?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Yes. So, answering to Swarup Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada in the movement, he is a Shaktives avatar, like, he was an empowered human being he's a divine soul, but he's come to deliver so many individuals. So in the movement, he did not have a lot of time. He knew he had only 10 years. So, and he knew, I mean, he had predicted, like, I don't have the reference right now, but it's there in one of the letters or some morning walk, that though he's making 5,000 disciples, not everybody would stay in the movement. And because after him, he wanted the legacy to continue for the ISKCON, he had given sannyas initiation to a few of his disciples, and then immediately made them spiritual masters as well, so that they can, carry on after he left the human material body. So that was done then back then. But these souls, of course, to become sannyasi also, just they were living a hippie life, and then in 2 years they become like I mean, for example, I'm just like Jayapataka Maharaj. In 2 years, he became in 2-3 years spiritual master as well. But he has till date he's continuing his duties so nicely. But not everybody. So everybody could not fall into that place. So they felt they had a fall. Of course, after Prabhupada, there was not anybody strict to guide, and within some fights within themselves, the problems of the 80s, we would know that during the 80s there was trouble, and then the ISKCON had a bad name. But after that, when GBC, like Mayapur, took over, Mayapur as a headquarter, the spiritual master becoming process became very strict. So even now, if you see like some of the senior devotees like Radhanath Maharaj and other Maharaj, they have made sannyasis, they have given sannyas initiation to some of their disciples, but they haven't made them spiritual masters. Of course, there's a rule that they can become spiritual master after their spiritual master leave the body. But even then, like Kesha Maharaj, like he had become sannyasi, and his Guru Maharaj has left the body, like His Holiness Kadam Kanan Maharaj. But he will be in the strict process of being observed for 10 to 12 years. They have to go through so many difficult tests and all, many like a purification process through the Shastras. So that's why after maybe 10-12 years he will be ready. So like that, so that when they become spiritual masters, like they give initiation, they are more pure, there's less fall. So this is, I'm talking in what Amoga Prabhu said is in a generic term for everybody, but for ISKCON that has been followed. So that is also one of the reason that nowadays we hear less of such incidents, but the ones who were senior, like even few months back, we heard one 86 years old Swami, he had a fall. So like that, I mean, because they were from Prabhupada's time, and then because the process has not been followed strictly, I mean, what Prabhupada says as four regulative principles, as well as the Shastra, and I exactly don't know what is the process of becoming spiritual master after the sannyas. So that is a very rigorous process, and everybody gives their review. The GBC keeps a very strict eye on them and all that, and then only they become one. So maybe that is the reason, because it wasn't followed then. So there was some fall, and as I mentioned, because Prabhupada did not have the time to do this, so he knew that many will leave the movement. So yeah, that's one of my reflection. Hare Krishna.
That's so informative and so useful reflection, Mataji. Thank you so much. This and what Prabhu has explained, I think that explains and answers the question that I have in my mind. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much, Amoga Prabhu.
All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Hare
All
Krishna.
glory.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. So sometimes even those people, it appears that they fall down a little bit, which are not apichet sudracharo bhajate mam anya bhav sagareva samantavyah samyak vyavhito hi saha. So if he is engaged in devotional service, is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated, even though he commits most abominable action before. There are it is what Prabhupada is giving. Besides this living entity who is fully conscious of spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord, has activities which are called transcendental. Okay, so this is a one reflection, but because they're chanting, maybe sometimes it appears that they're not following the rules, but he is in Krishna consciousness. We need to treat him as a sadhu only. Okay, that is one reflection. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so today, Friday, we don't have any activity. And today, Javed Mataji, you have got something to share, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sorry, about what?
I think it is some arrows are showing. I thought it is hand lifting, something like that.
I couldn't hear you properly. Something?
Okay, so I thought you have lifted your hand, something to say.
Oh, no. Sorry, no, nothing. It may have been by mistake or something. Sorry, no.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, and there are no events today in the evening from our center. And tomorrow morning we will continue our Bhagavatam and then Brahma Samhita. So those are our upcoming stuff. And the devotees. So there is after this day, there is again 22nd of September. It is a little bit of it is called Navaratri begins. I think that is also one more auspicious day for any contributions for the Jagannath Soveto Jagannath Ratha Yatra after this day. So after the Ekadasi and Dwadasi, that is one more auspicious day comes. Of course, any day is auspicious for contributing, but just to highlight. Okay, so we'll be finishing that one in few more days. 25th, we'll finish that fundraise. We have got around 200 pounds raised. I will share later on that amount. Okay, that is from the announcements point from me. And the devotees, if you have got any updates or you want to share anything, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no updates, we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्री
Jai,
हरि की जय।
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण कॉन्शियस डे एवरीवन।